Hi, welcome to Lesson 8 in our short 14-day introduction to satellite Earth observation. Today I want to show you how to do a time series on Earth Blox so you can see the Earth's surface changing over time. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to find a nice area in North Africa. There are some areas in North Africa that have irrigation and they make a nice example. They're very clear to look at because you can see what's happening quite distinctly. I'm going to choose this area. I'm going to draw an area around this box, this little area down here. And you can see these circular areas is where the irrigation booms have been going around in circles and they're irrigating the area. Because it's North Africa, there is not so many clouds, so we don't have to worry too much about that. But we are going to go for some Sentinel-2 data. So into the data catalog, imagery, take Sentinel-2, use the recommended blocks. Everything's set up there. We're just going to look, let's look at the last year. So up until 2022 from about August. We're going to just use the default cloud cover. There won't be that many clouds anyway. On the aggregate images over time. Now in all the previous lessons, we've just left this as combined images over the entire time period. But now we're going to look every week. Now every week, that's 52 weeks. That actually is going to take a little bit of time. So I'm going to make it every fortnight. So I can put in creating a new image every 2 weeks. So what that's going to do is aggregate every 2 weeks. It's going to accumulate all the images that have been collected and it's going to merge them together using the median over that 2 week period. So we've got 1 pixel for that 2 week period. Now I'm not going to do a true color. I'm going to go back to a previous lesson where we learned how to take the index and add NDVI. We're going to do after the cloud. So get rid of all the cloudy data first. Then we'll do the normalized difference vegetation index. And then we're just going to use a single band. It's going to be NDVI. And we're going to define the range from the proper range of -1 to 1. And we're going to change the color ramp so that it's got a good combination of going ideally to green and then blue at the other end. So we'll choose this delta one. We're going to save that. Now I'm going to start this running, and what it's going to do is it's going to look over the last 12 months. It's going to have the Sentinel-2 data in this particular area, and it's going to calculate the normalized difference vegetation index. But because our aggregate block now is combining images by week, that over this year period it's now going to generate fortnightly images. Now you can see that what we've got a beautiful image here where the NDVI from -1 to 1, so we can see the darkest areas are the highest NDVI, so that's got the healthiest, richest vegetation cover in each of these irrigation areas. But we've now got a time series at the bottom, so it automatically generates this time series when we have the aggregate block that has images combined by a shorter time period than the time period we've selected for collecting the entire data set. Now if you're following at home or in the office, when you press play on here, what it will do is load each individual image, and it has to process and load each one, so it takes a little bit of time, and we've got about 25 images to go through. So I'm going to speed up the process a little bit. It'll take a little bit longer for you, but let me just pause it and let's get to the end so I can show you the animation going much more smoothly. So you'll see I've jumped ahead a little bit here. It's processing the last couple of images, and then once it's done we'll be able to play the entire animation much more smoothly because it's cached. For every time it's generated one of these images, it caches it so it's available. So when it goes back to the play button and we click play, it doesn't have to download them every image. It now can go through the sequence, and what you'll see is that each of these areas, as they grow and then are harvested, and the seasonal patterns and the fact that you can monitor each individual one there, that's probably at its peak where most of them have got the vegetation at its highest state, and then many of them are now harvested. And so that's how you generate a time series. The straightforward use of the aggregate images in time automatically generates that time series whenever you want to, whenever you break up the time period into smaller chunks than the one you're looking at. Now in the next lesson we're going to look at the various base maps that we can look at in the map interface.